Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newly revamped podcast, now known as Darcy's Corner. Hence why I'm not really in the corner, I'm more just like slanted off to the side, but you know, the thought still counts. Here we'll be talking about a lot of different topics around disability. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Darcy's Corner. Yes, we're still keeping that name.
Yay.
And, of course, I am the titular Darcy Brown. Nice to meet you. Just gonna do that. So there's some POV there and pretend our audience is like a real person. Pretend the camera is an actual person. POV, you watch a subpar podcast.
Well, sledge yourself. I'm trying to smile this episode, because the last episode I look really annoyed.
Yep. Anyway, this is Fawebe.
Hi. I'm Fawebe.
Yes.
So, what are we talking about this week? Darcy in your corner.
Who are you trying to be?
I don't know.
Okay, well, today we're talking about, today's episode is to do with part-time What's so funny?
I'm smiling. Sorry. Would you prefer I go back to resting your face?
No, I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know at this point.
Alright, what are we talking about this week?
We're talking about part-time wheelchair users, and our first topic today is Zillion OP, aka It's Bluish.
Who's Zillion OP?
He is a Twitch streamer who, way back in the day, around 2013, which was 11 years ago. You feel old yet?
Yuck.
Yep.
That means that kids born in 2013 are, like, about to go into high school.
Yep.
Ugh. Nah.
Feel old yet, audience?
We're not even that old.
I'm almost 20. You're saying that like it's a euphemism.
Yeah.
Do you know what a euphemism is?
No.
Anyway, comment down below what a euphemism is for Phoebe.
Yeah, Scotty, let us know.
And Ash. Yeah.
And I think Thomas. Maybe Fiona. I don't know. She's probably turned it off by now.
I mean, you did say so, like...
Oh, that'll be blurred out.
You turned it... She did say the B word, so she probably...
Bruh.
Anyway...
Back to Zillion OP.
Yes. So, Zillion OP was a Twitch streamer back in the day, around 2013-ish, and he had gotten into, I believe, a car accident, which left him left him as an ambulant wheelchair user or a part-time wheelchair user for the better part of 2 years. And at one point during one of his streams, he gets up and, walks off. Now, the media portrays this as, and I hate to be all the media, but the media portrays this as, oh, he begged for donation money and then spent it on other things. Oh, he's a scammer. He was never disabled. He was this, he was that. When no. You can look at the video yourself and see that at the very least, his gait is very off. And it would be extremely, hard to plan this all in advance, considering the fact that he had photos of around the same time of him out in public in a wheelchair. And he didn't even get that much money. He didn't even ask for donations and stuff. It was started by his fans. And it's unfortunate because he was ridiculed. And it wasn't until recently where he got his, side of the story out, a good 10 or maybe about 9 years later, where he was it was like a tell-all thing he did with a YouTuber called Wavy Web Surf. And it was, I myself, as a part-time wheelchair user, because I was a dumb baby brain child, I was like, yeah, screw that guy, because I wanted to be with everyone else. But and that was when I was like 10. But then I was like, wait, no, this don't make sense. Things ain't adding up. And, I'm glad that this has come out there, that just because someone in a wheelchair has the ability to stand does not mean they're not disabled. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen. That totally does happen, where people fake disabilities for sympathy, but that's not what he was doing. The media likes to say that he scammed $10,000, $20,000, but in reality, he only ever received donations of upwards of 2K at most. And he self-admitted that half of those donations were from family members. Well, he had his brother come in and was like, hey buddy, here's $10, what? I'm not sure if it was actually his brother. I'm just more saying that as an example. But yeah, he's doing okay now, as far as I'm aware. He's fully ambulant, but it did take a lot of recovery for him to get to that point. And he self-admittedly said that his biggest flaw was not keeping people up to date with his physical therapy, which, yeah, that probably should have been disclosed, because if he would have disclosed that I'm going through physiotherapy and I'm getting better and can walk for longer, it wouldn't have been harsh as a reaction. But he never claimed to be permanently wheelchair bound. It was just the assumption of others. And he raised a good point of, so the amount of people on his streams, here you got an average of about 200 to 400 views per stream. So in the grand scheme of things, not that many. And the amount of people that knew about the story from the outlet, from news outlets and videos, were in the millions. And he said that a lot of the people that were going, I'm a terrible person, didn't even watch his content. They just saw him and his name and wanted to attack him, which is not good. Mob cancel culture mentality is not good. Yeah, don't witch hunt people. Next thing I wanted to discuss was media representation. As mentioned prior, I believe I mentioned this in the previous episode, but Davros from Doctor Who, them deciding to not make him in a wheelchair anymore, I don't think was a good decision, and I think their reasons for doing it weren't that great. And if you're wondering what this is all about, you can watch our previous episode. But then there's another character who is a part-time wheelchair user, and I don't watch Doctor Who. I know the majority of this from one of my friends, Kat, if you're listening, which I know you probably aren't. I love you, dude. Yeah. So
sending you love.
What? You don't know them? That's
Big fan.
That's kind of parasocial there.
Well, I don't even know what that means.
You don't know what a lot of words mean.
No.
So, anyway, thank you, Kat. I just wanted to say that I don't watch Doctor Who, so I learned a lot of this through them, but there is a part-time wheelchair user in that show, and they showed me this scene that was they're a part-time wheelchair user as well, and they thought the scene was amazing. But out of context, I thought that it was funny because there's a scene of the character who's a part-time wheelchair user just sort of existing, and then another lady just comes in and is like, "She's a fake! I saw her walking! I saw her walking!" And I'm sure in context, like, I don't know who both these characters are, and I'm sure there's, like, some catharsis to this, because she's, like, being, like, walked away by, like, 2 guards or something. I don't know, she's being arrested. But I find that funny, like, just the acting was a little over the top. But I still think it's great nonetheless. Another thing that kind of annoys me about, like, wheelchair representation or disability representation in media is the sort of normalcy being the reward. And what I mean by that is, and this is something I have to stress, apparently, that of what I mean when I say this. So, what this is about a character in a movie, TV show, book, game, whatever narrative it is, and their reward for going through their trials and tribulations throughout the course of the film is to become able-bodied or what have you. Now, this is something I have to clarify again, apparently, that I don't think that having as a part of your character's story, having them become, giving them an acquired disability and then having them overcome it. An example that comes to mind is Cobra Kai. That was a very good way of doing someone who pretty much got fully paralyzed but was able to heal. It wasn't realistic, but you know, it's a show, but I really did like that. I don't think that's a problem of a part of a character's narrative being they've been disabled and they've got to recover. I don't think that's necessarily the issue. What I'm talking about is that the table will be wobbling. What I'm talking about is that, say a character is born with cerebral palsy, and by the end of, and the movie's about them, like, overcoming cerebral palsy, and by the end of the movie, they are cured of cerebral palsy, they're able-bodied, or what have you, and the moral of the story is, if you work hard enough and you do this, you know, you can be just like everyone else. That sounds good on paper, right? But here's the thing. With an acquired disability, and, like, the whole recovery thing, like, obviously it's unrealistic for someone to be, like, fully paralyzed and then miraculously heal. But you can stretch that in a form of fiction because people have a general concept of injury and recovery. But in real life, there is no cure for cerebral palsy. There is no cure for Down syndrome. There is no cure for muscular dystrophy. There is no cure for dystonia. There is none of that. And as a person with a disability, being told in a movie that you can be like everyone else, you just have to work hard enough, isn't good, because it basically is saying, if you're still disabled, that means you're not good enough, which isn't, like, at all. So I don't think it's an issue in a narrative where someone has a physical injury and needs to recover, but if that is based off something like cerebral palsy, where it is from birth and is something that they'll have to live with the rest of their lives, and there is no feasible way of just getting better and becoming normal, that encourages stigmatization in the disability community, and like I said, reinforces the belief that not just disabled people have, but non-disabled people have, of we just need to work hard enough to, get fully able-bodied and like get the ability to walk and whatever. And that not only affects, as I said, the disabled people, but also the people in the non-disability community. I remember when I was at school, we did physio, and there was one standout physio who was great, and we loved him because he actually understood us and listened to us. But the mindset at my school, which was a disability school, the mindset at my school when it came to physio is we've got to push these kids as hard as they can go, because that's how they can get better and become normal, which didn't work because, we all have to work within our own limitations, and if not, we're just going to hurt ourselves, which is what ended up happening the majority of the time. It was only until this person got us to push our limits. So, like, the main mindset is if we push the disabled people hard enough, they'll get better and become normal. And they do it to their standards, whereas this one physio pushed us to our limits, not what his limits were. And I think that's the best way. And an uninformed physio being told, like, obviously it's a work of fiction or what have you, and they should be able to understand basic media literacy, and just understand that this is an exaggeration, whatever. Anyway, they should be able to understand that it's fiction, but a lot of time they don't. They might be uninformed, so they may think that, oh my god, if I get this guy with weak legs, because he's, disabled, to run 1,000,000 miles an hour on a treadmill, eventually he'll have jacked legs and be like everyone else. And that'll be like, and it's like, no. And I know that's an extreme thing, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what their thing is. Because of these, like, parts in media where it's like, it can all be fixed if you just work hard enough. It reinforces the physio's belief that we just need to work harder, and it reinforces the belief in disabled people that you are not good at... If you're still disabled, it's because you're not good enough. You didn't try hard enough, which, isn't a great mindset. Anything you have to add, Phoebe?
I think tying Zillion OP to more media representation, to people's understandings of how disability works, all linked together really with more media representation. Like, for people who are not affected by a disability and don't understand that wheelchairs are not for everyone a 100% of the time solution, and people can be part-time users, then maybe fewer people would have gone to Zillion OP calling him a fraud and all of that, because they could have understood it better. And then the physios might kind of understand things better. That's really poor from the physios to be getting someone to have jacked legs from running on the treadmill 1,000,000 miles an hour. But I think
that didn't actually happen. That was an exaggeration for the point of my argument.
Yeah, but like just general education and more awareness is, I think, going to solve a lot of issues around the world, but also this one, not solve it, but help people be more understanding.
Yeah.
Anyway, said all your things?
Yes.
Happy? Cool.
I
didn't have much to add this episode. It was good. Best to hear it from you, obviously.
Alright. Well, I hope everyone here has an amazing, like, just an amazing existence.
Thanks.
Except you, Phil.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Phoebe.
No, I'm talking to you, Phil.
Who's Phil?
You know, Phil. He's
Dr.
right.
Phil.
He's right there. No, he's right there.
Yeah, stuff you, Phil. Make sure to tune in 3 weeks for our next episode about...
I wasn't informed what the
Oh
next
my God.
episode was going to... Okay, tune in 3 weeks for our next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hope you enjoyed that episode, and please remember to follow this YouTube channel and all of our social medias listed in the description.